Well, here we are. Network Marketing Insider. Oops, wrong one. That's funny. Wholesale Real Estate Investing by Sell a House, Arizona. Number 198 on this negotiation new op day, December 7th, 2015. I'm Paul Romero. Welcome everybody to the Wholesale Real Estate Investing. We are the creators of the Property Noodler system. Now, I'd like to invite everybody who is here on the show today to, oops, I got to bring that up on my screen. I didn't finish doing a couple things. I'd like to invite everybody to go ahead and type in, use your little keyboard, type in and tell us where you're hanging out from today. We're always interested in seeing who's watching and where you're hanging out from. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona. So you'll find us on these shows at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time during the winter and Pacific Time during the summer when it's daylight savings. So that's kind of a little confusing thing, but that's all right. So what I normally do at this point in time, or what I was planning to do at this point in time, was to ask who can tell me what a property noodler is, because we are the creators of the property noodler system. And I was going to toss it to my partner John and say that I think, John, you can tell me what a property noodler is, but since he's not here today, I'm going to tell you what a property noodler is. A property noodler is a wholesaler that eliminates randomness. Think about that. Think about that catfish noodler thing you saw on television, and think about how fishing and those two relate to each other, and that's the difference between the property noodler system and your standard wholesale real estate systems. The property noodler system is unlike any other real estate investing educational system that's out there. And you know the type that I'm talking about. The, hey, give me a whole bunch of money, and here's a nice little educational package. Go learn it, go do it, and good luck, right? You know those systems. The property noodler system is pretty much exactly the opposite of that. This is more like, hey, you know what? Keep your money, and let me show you exactly one little tiny piece right in the heart of what it takes to get a deal that you can go right now and do without any knowledge at all, so that we can land a deal together. And I'll coach you through that so that you can start making some money first and then start learning all that other stuff as you do. I don't know which system sounds better to you, but the thing is, why we've created our system this way is because we have seen, believe me, we have seen, real estate investing is not for everyone, okay? And it pretty much comes down to this one little key element, which determines for people whether or not this is for them or not. And so what our property noodler system does is it throws you right into the heart of this key element. Excuse me there for a second. It throws you right into the heart of this key element so that you can determine quickly, by understanding what it's really going to take for you to be successful at wholesale real estate, whether or not this is for you. And you know what? If you determine that it's not, hey, you haven't spent a big ton of money to figure that out. You haven't wasted a whole bunch of your time in your life to figure that out. And now you know, hey, you know what? That real estate investing thing, pretty cool. I see how it can work now, but you know, it's just not for me. That gives you the freedom now to say, it's like going to the buffet, right? And you got all these foods out there. Well, maybe some of them you had before, maybe some of you you haven't had before. So you have an idea of some of the things you like, and some of these things, they look good, but you don't know if you like them or not. So you try a little bit, and you go back to your table and you go, ooh, that one I don't like, right? That one's not very good. Well, it's just as important to know what you don't like, to know what you don't want, as it is to know what you do like and what you do want. Key thing there. So that's what our program is designed to allow you to find out. Is real estate investing something that you like and something that you want without having to spend a whole ton of time and money to do so? That's what we developed the property noodler system for. And also, secondarily, for those who decide that it is, obviously, we developed the system to achieve massive success on, you know, on your own pace, pretty much. That's the nice thing too. You have levels that you can advance through, and you can get to them at your own pace. You can stop wherever you like, wherever you might fit in. You know, maybe you get into this and you like, you know, the first piece, but you're like, I don't really want to get into doing all of that stuff. I just like doing this, and I can make some money at it. Property noodler system allows you to do that. Whereas in other systems, you know, you can't stop at halfway. You have to do it all or you get nothing. So anyway, that's the property noodler system. It's designed to educate and propagate people who are interested in wholesale real estate in a manner that doesn't break your bank or your spirit. So a big part of this key element is the interaction with other people and how you handle other people, which is why this New Op Day Hangout, you know, that's what this New Op Day Hangout is all about. And what we go over in this New Op Day Hangout is sort of a guidebook, an instruction manual, so to speak, in how to deal with people and be more successful at it. And that book is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a very powerful book. It was written all the way back in the 1920s or 30s or something like that. But you know what? It's probably more powerful today than it even was back then because of how society has turned around and changed. And you're going to see some of that in this chapter 2, part 2, chapter 1 that we're going to be getting into here. I just want to point out real quickly for those of you who haven't been with us, before, or haven't been following along, or maybe have missed a couple, 1 or 2 of these shows here, just get you up to speed where we are. Okay, we started out, we covered how and why this book was written. That's the very first introductory part of the book, is how and why the book was written. Pretty important piece to understand. It'll give you the idea of what I just said, why it's so important, why this information is so important, and kind of how the book was written, to give you an understanding of, you know, the truth behind it, the backing behind it, you know, what makes this stuff real, you know, the proof behind it. That's kind of the word I was looking for. More like the proof behind it. Okay. And then he also gives, we went through the 9 suggestions on how to get the most out of this book. So even he tells you as an instruction manual, which is what this kind of is. It's almost like a classroom. You could make a study course out of this. You could make this the textbook, right? You could make this the textbook for how to deal with people, how to handle people. And he tells you, you know, gives you the instruction here on the best way to use this book. So how to teach yourself within using this book. Then we get into part 1, which part 1 is the fundamentals, the fundamental techniques in handling people. Right? And I'm going to open that up because that is the fundamental techniques in handling people. Again, I'm going to reiterate that the fundamental techniques, these are the basics. These are the launching pad to your success. These are what are going to make you or break you in the business world, in the relationship world, in the life world, in the success world, in this world in general. Because you know what? Everything revolves around people. You guys may not realize that, but everything revolves around other people. Your money comes from other people. Your jobs come from other people. Everything comes from other people. So the better you can deal with other people, better you can handle other people, better off you're going to be. And that's the power behind this. And that's why we do these new update negotiation new updates. So in chapter 1, or in part 1, chapter 1 is all about, and which is, these 3 things are pretty much like the basics here. And chapter 1 is all about don't criticize, condemn, or complain about other people. In other words, the basis behind all this is basically don't incite resentment of you in other people, right? So don't piss them off. Don't make people don't give people a reason to resent you. So that's the first thing in how to win friends and influence people, obviously, is, don't give them a reason to not like you, to resent you. Don't give them that. Does that make sense? So first of all, now you've got all those people at least still there. They may not like you or know you or trust you or anything like that yet, but at least they're still there, right? They haven't left. They haven't said, that guy's a jackwad, I'm out of here, right? So don't criticize, condemn, or complain about other people. Don't instill resentment of you into other people. Then number 2, chapter 2 is give honest and sincere appreciation. And this is really all about making the other person feel important. Very powerful. Our own personal drive to want to feel important is one of the highest level drives within us. Our desire to feel important. So if you, by giving honest and sincere appreciation, are giving other people a feeling of importance, you haven't pissed them off. They have no reason to resent you. And now you're giving them a feeling of importance, something that speaks to their heart. You think they're going to start liking you a little bit? Absolutely. And then number 3 is to arouse in other people an eager want. This one's kind of difficult, but it's maybe the toughest, but it's definitely very, very powerful in letting it be theirs, right? You're not, and this is why, salesmanship is not really about selling, and why we hate being sold, because we don't want somebody pushing something on us. However, the good salesman knows, the rich salesman, the one who's successful, understands that his job is to not just push this product upon somebody, but it's to guide them into understanding why they need this product, and so that they come to the idea themselves that I really have to have this. Thank you for telling me why I need to have this. Yes, I'll take one. In fact, I might even take 15. That's arousing in the other person an eager want. It's that way that you go about it, in such that they feel that it's their idea, that it's their thought, that they are the ones who, come to, you just helped them understand that. And through doing these things, you build 3 very, very powerful things. And that is a feeling that people know you, a feeling that people like you, and a feeling that people can trust you. Those are the 3 elements that will build your success in everything, including wholesale real estate, which is why we do this new update, negotiation new update, and we go through this book of how to win friends and influence people. So now we've come to part 2 of the book, which part 2 is now we start kind of getting into some, how-tos. Part 2 is 6 ways to make people like you. Okay? There are ways that you can actually make people like you. Okay, wouldn't in that kind of selling? No, not really. Not when you do it the right way. So chapter 1 is entitled, Do This and You Will Be Welcome Anywhere. So I'm going to do a quick little recap on where we got last new update, last session. And we barely got about halfway through this chapter of, what is this? This is about 68 from, there's not even a page number on that, 56. We got about 12 pages here. And I got about halfway through it last session. So I'm going to recap real quick, and then we'll get into the second half, and maybe we can actually get through this chapter. I don't know, but we'll find out. I doubt it. There's so much in this book. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's almost like we have to spend 3 days on each chapter. Of course, we're only given it 20, 30 minutes, so. But anyway, it starts off with this question. Did you ever stop to think that a dog is the only animal that doesn't have to work for a living? A chicken has to lay egg, a cow has to give milk, a canary's got to sing, you know, but a dog makes his living by giving you nothing but love. Giving nothing but love. What this boils down to, he tells a little story about his dog, but what this all boils down to is realistically that you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. That goes back to a little bit of giving honest and sincere appreciation, but becoming genuinely interested in other people. That's what this is all about. That's what part 2, chapter 1 is all about. Being genuinely interested in other people. And I'm going to say that whole little sentence there again, is you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. People don't give a crap about you. That's the key. That's the bottom underlying factor of knowledge that will help you be successful. When you realize that people don't give a crap about you, they don't care what you think. All they care, you know, and they won't like you until they know how much you care about them. It's all about them. Genuine interest in them is how you get people. What's the title of this? 6 ways to make people like you. How you get people to like you is by you being interested in them, not by trying to impress upon them why they should be interested in you. And that's kind of where, that's really where society, and that's why I say that this book is so important and so powerful, like hundreds of times more powerful today than it was even back when it was written, is because society has, you know, sort of pushed us towards that whole thought of, you know, it's all about me. It's all about me. And so, I mean, it was there before. It's always been there, you know. I mean, it's just innate within us that, you know, this whole, everything that we live and breathe and think about is about us. And so, but society has really, really, really pushed that upon us in the past century, in such that, I mean, today it's so much more about me than it ever has been before, which is what makes this even more powerful today. You know, someone who shows a genuine interest in you in today's world, it's like unheard of. So yeah, when that happens, bam, you're just like, whoa, hey, tell me more. Who are you? What are you? You know? Oh, talked about even back then, they did a survey, the telephone company did a survey of 3,900, or I'm sorry, of 500 telephone calls. And in those telephone calls, 3,900 times the word I was used. It just tells you how much people think about themselves. And that was a century ago, almost. When you, he just mentioned something. I mean, just think about it. This is just something for you to think about and point this out, you know, and tell you how real it is. If you see a group photo, bunch of people in the photo, who's the first person you start looking for? You start looking for your mom or your brother? No, you start looking for you, because it's all about you. If we merely try to impress people and get people interested in us, we will never have any true, sincere friends. Never. Friends, real friends, aren't made that way. What Life Should Mean to You by Alfred Adler. It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow men who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others. It is from among such individuals that all human failures have sprung. From the individual who is not interested in his fellow men. And like I said, that is really what society has been pushing upon us, is not having interest in other people. It's all about me. Technology, I mean, even takes us in that direction. Anyway, skipping that. He talks about, within this book, he's always talking about relating real-time stories and real-time people. And so he talks about a magician who made a lot of money. Not going to bother looking for his name here, but a very, very profitable and successful magician back in the day. But what he noticed was that the other magicians in his show, they would kind of, before the show, they'd look out, peek out between the curtains, and they'd have the mindset of thinking like, well, there's a bunch of suckers out there, a bunch of hicks. I'll fool them all right. One of the things that made this man so successful is the fact that he would look out there and he would look at the same group of people, and his mindset, his thinking was that I am grateful because these people come to see me. They make it possible for me to make a living in a very agreeable way, and I'm going to give them the very best that I possibly can. It's just that simple. Just giving the very best that you possibly can. Why does it seem like I've skipped some pages here? Very interesting. I don't know. But anyway, he goes on next to speak of a story of a guy named George Dyke from Pennsylvania, who at a very late stage in life decided that he wanted to, start playing some music on a fiddle. And this guy just sort of started reaching out and hanging out with people that were playing the fiddle. And the next thing you know, he became pretty decent at playing the fiddle. And even at his late age in life, he really became known as this Uncle George, the fiddle scraper from Kinzua County. And it's just because, he was generally interested in the other people who were the successful people who were playing fiddle. He would just show up. He didn't want anything from them. He would just talk to them and try to glean a few little pieces of information out of a conversation. But he was just generally interested in them and how they got started and how they learned this or that, just whatever it was. And these people, he befriended them all. And the next thing you know, they were all, wanting his success as much as their own and helping him in ways that he would have never anticipated. It talks about Theodore Roosevelt being one of the, I don't know, probably greatest presidents that ever lived because of his ability to be with people, to deal with people. It says that too is one of the secrets of Theodore Roosevelt's astonishing popularity. Even his servants loved him. His valet, James E. Amos, wrote a book about him entitled Theodore Roosevelt, Hero to His Valet. In that book, he illustrates an incident where James, Mr. Amos, and his wife, they lived on property way off, in the distance from where Theodore Roosevelt lived. But during a random conversation one time, his wife had asked Theodore Roosevelt about a bobwhite, which is, I believe, a bird. And she didn't know anything about it. And, he told her a little bit about what a bobwhite was and what they looked like, et cetera, and so on. And one day, just out of the blue, Mr. Roosevelt called up to the little house way across, the compound there, and said, "Hey, Mrs. Amos, if you look outside your window right now, there's a bobwhite. You might be able to catch it and see it." I mean, just a little thing like that, I mean, here he is, the president of the United States, telling the wife of his valet that there's this one specific bird outside her window right now that she had interest in. Powerful stuff. He mentions in here that, right? How did I skip another page? He goes on to, it talks about how at one point in time he visited He visited back to the White House after he was gone when President Taft, I believe it was in office. And he went to the maids and he asked the cook lady if she still made cornbread. And it's like, oh, no, we hardly ever do that anymore. No one upstairs eats it. I make it every once in a while for all of us, but no one upstairs ever eats the cornbread anymore. And this, that, and the other thing. And as he went through the White House and all of that, he took the time, he addressed each person just as he had addressed them when in the past. Ike Hoover, who had been head usher at the White House for 40 years, said with tears in his eyes, "It is the only happy day we had in nearly 2 years." And not one of us would exchange it for even $100 bill, just because of the interaction with people. And especially people who can't do anything for you. We're running out of time here, and I'm not going to get through this book, I don't think, or this chapter, I don't think. Never forget that to be genuinely interested in other people is a most important quality for a salesperson to possess, for any person for that matter. The other story here, let's see here. Oh, this story, he talks about himself, I believe, as a salesperson who would go to this certain store. Maybe he's talking about another salesperson, I don't know, but they would go to this certain store to get their orders every month or whatever it was. And every time that the salesperson came into the store, he would take the time to address the soda clerk or the ice cream scooper, two of the menial workers within the store. And I mean, not just, hey, how you doing, and walk on by. I mean, he would literally take the time to address them, to talk to them, to see how things are going, what they're doing, those kinds of things. And one day he came into the to take the order, and the boss man said, "You know what? We're not buying your product anymore because we feel that your advertising is, promoting something that we're against." And so he left pretty disappointed and went off and wandered around for a few hours, and then finally came back to sort of see if he could maybe persuade this, very good client who'd been ordering for a long time to, change their mind and come back. And when he walked in, instead of him having to do any of that, the guy was just like, "Oh, I'm so glad you came back. I'd like to place an order with you." And he was just like, "I don't understand. What changed your mind here?" And he said, "Well, you know what? After you left, Joe at the soda counter came over, and he just said that, you, of all the salesmen that come in here, you're the only one who ever takes time to, meet and greet. And if anybody deserved our business, it was a guy like you. And so, you know what? I'm going to stay with your company." Powerful stuff, little tiny stuff. He says in here that I have discovered from personal experience that one can win the attention and time and cooperation of even the most sought after people by becoming genuinely interested. Can win the attention and time and cooperation of even the most sought out or most famous people by becoming genuinely interested in them. And he demonstrates about a class where they were wanting to put on a little bit of a program, and they wanted to get a few, very popular musicians to participate or do something, contribute somehow. And they wrote this letter to them, but they provided for them almost the questions, for the outline of, what they would like them to present, say maybe stand up and talk for 5 minutes. And they just, it's because understanding that these are very busy people, instead of saying, "Oh, would you do this?" and leaving it upon them completely, they just said, "Oh, would you do this? And, here's an outline. All you have to do is just maybe just touch upon these 5 things and for 5 minutes, and that would be fantastic." And so, doing something like that, taking the extra step to do something for these people that relieve them of the burden of having to come up and create everything, enticed like 90% of them to actually follow through and go and come through with it. If we want to make friends, let's put ourselves out to doing things for other people, things that require time, energy, unselfishness, and thoughtfulness. That's the very thing. He talks about a point of making birthdays of something powerful, other people's birthdays, and always sending something on people's birthdays. That's really powerful. If we want to make friends, let's greet people with animation and enthusiasm. Say hello in tones that bespeak how pleased you are that that person has called. Many companies train their telephone operators to greet all callers in a tone of voice that radiates interest and enthusiasm. The caller feels the company is concerned about them. Might want to remember that the next time you pick up the phone. Showing a genuine interest in others not only wins friends for you, it may develop in its customers a loyalty to your company. Well, we're not going to make it all the way through this, guys. I still got a couple pages left to go. I thank you for being here today. We'll finish part 2, chapter 1, next new op day. Absolutely. And I just want to say that, you know, it's a great day here today at Sell a House, Arizona, the property noodler system. As we talked about, you know, if real estate wholesaling is something you're interested in, find out what the heart and soul of success in real estate is and whether or not it's for you by sending an email to thepropertynoodlers@gmail.com. And with that, everybody, I'll end as we always do with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire." That being, for me, building a successful educational program for you guys to become powerful real estate investors. All right, everybody, we'll see you back here on Wisdom Wednesday with some really awesome stuff. Have a great afternoon and enjoy your new op day. Go out and find yourself a new opportunity.